It's called the Pacific Alliance Singapore Free Trade Agreement. Collectively, the 4 countries in the Pacific Alliance represent the 8th largest GDP in the world at around $2 trillion. Singapore already has existing deals with member countries, Mexico, Chile, and Peru. But it's the first trade pact that Singapore has signed with Colombia.
The free trade agreement opens the doors to cooperation with Singapore in areas of common interest that contribute to the free circulation of goods, services, capital, and people. We have much to learn from Singapore, and we are ready to receive important cooperation in research and technological development, taking advantage of its degree of trade openness and the highest standards of trade facilitation and business management that it has developed in recent years.
Once the deal has been ratified, Singapore businesses could enjoy lower export costs to these countries. And they will also benefit from enhanced physical connectivity through sea links. MTI says that the deal also opens the door to cooperation in new areas, not currently associated with Latin America, namely the digital and green economy.
In fact, I met with tech companies in a tech roundtable that we hosted for Colombian businesses, and we talked about AI, on blockchain, on digitalization. So there are many companies that are already linked up through our Enterprise Singapore. There's a program called Latin Leap, which Enterprise Singapore is working together with tech companies in Colombia and also in the wider PA states that we're hoping to expand it so that these companies can continue to invest in Singapore and our tech companies can also enter these markets in Latin America.
One local technology company that's keen to expand their presence in the region is the C Group. It has made forays into Pacific Alliance countries with its e-commerce platform, Shopee.
Colombia, like other Pacific region, has a lot of, I think, growth opportunities. It is, you look at the share of consumption within GDP is actually quite large. It's over 60% is coming from consumption driver. You look at mobile phone penetration, it's around, I think, 60, 70% and rising. So there's a lot of kind of very good dynamics macro going on that's going to drive positive growth in the region. And I think so far we're happy to share that we have seen positive user response initially in Colombia. So there's we're going to continue to invest and continue to enhance our service and offerings there.
Like all frontier markets, Singapore companies will face challenges such as a new culture, staffing constraints, and a language barrier. But C Group says it prefers to focus on the positives instead.
There's still a lot of underserved population. So on the consumer side, there's still opportunities for people who want to access goods and services living in remote areas. You see the SMEs, small, medium scale enterprise, looking for chance to digitalize and explore and be connected to the broader markets, whether it's in domestic markets or even beyond. And those are something we're very familiar with in Southeast Asia.
And for those companies that face difficulties, advice and assistance has been promised.
What the Colombian government will do with the Singaporean companies is to provide them with enough information, providing them with all the opportunities that can be found in the different economical sectors. Also, we have launched our investment facilitator mechanism, which helps all foreign investors to find a single window in order to present all their claims, all their requests in an only one place.
Possible areas of growth outlined in the deal with the Pacific Alliance include agricultural trade, technology, and infrastructure. Colombia has also been identified as having significant potential for renewable energy power generation. Singapore's Ministry of Trade and Industry says this is another area where the Republic can benefit.
Many of the countries in the Pacific Alliance has huge swath of land. They have mountains, they have land for wind energy, for hydroelectric power, for even the development of low carbon technologies like hydrogen. So what we can do is to work with them to help to develop these new sources of energy, help them, and many of them are producers of carbon credits. And that is where, as alternative energy disadvantaged nation, we can trade with them and make sure that we can potentially buy their carbon credits so that we can meet our emissions targets.
All that's left now is for the individual countries to carry out the ratification process. The trade deal will come into force after Singapore and at least 2 Pacific Alliance member states have ratified the agreement.